Hello everyone, good evening. Our team is choosing the topic name is the ethics and the CSR across cultures that shows IKEA, Saudi advertising and the gender ethics. Um, our group team members are presenting these presentations and our group agenda is the introductions and the case overviews, cross-cultural ethical conflicts. Then after the ethical decision-making theories, and then shows the decision consequence and the CSR. What is the strategy recommendations for the IKEA and the last in the conclusion of the uh, this presentations. Today, presentations explore IKEA's entry into the Saudi Arabia market and the controversy that followed when it came to remove women from its catalog image. It shows in the in the catalog IKEA is the globally IKEA is a globally recognized brand and founded in the Sweden 1943. It operates in over 60 countries and it known for its Scandinavian design, low-cost furniture, and the inclusive marketing campaign. When IKEA entered Saudi Arabia, it faced a cultural challenges. The controversial society and the strict dress codes lead to the company to alter its usual advertising strategy by removing images of women from catalog. This move sparks backlash in the Sweden, where IKEA was accused of abandoning its value on gender equality. The company faced criticism from the media and the government, putting its corporate culture under scrutiny. That shows the main key take is the about the highlighting the culture sensitivity is the complexity of balancing with corporate value uh, in the global business. It raises important questions about how far companies should go to localize without compromising their core principles. And my next point is what is ethics? About the IKEA case example, ethics involve the principle that guide what is the right and wrong, focusing on the fairness, justice, and the moral responsibility. Main key point is that ethic in global business means balancing local adaptations with universal value like gender equality. Thank you. And the next part is shows my next team member. Thank you for that.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Zuhaib. As my co-fellow explain you whole case study, what happened when IKEA launched their brand in Saudi Arabia, which is a conservative society. They are Sweden based, so they followed the local norms and they try to promote their brand without human pictures. But this triggered a severe backlash in Sweden, so I'm here to explain the cross-cultural ethical conflicts, their root causes. So moving towards the next slide, basically and the global managers facing this issue on the regular basis. Many global managers have to choose between the local traditions to protect the market access or upholding the company's global ethical framework. In IKEA's case, their manager choose to adapt the local traditions, but they have to pay the price, which is a reputation in their home country, that is Sweden, and other liberal markets. Yeah, I think so. Multinational corporations should have a fine line between ethical, realistic approach and universal expectations of international stakeholders, so that they can cover the local brand reputation in local and as well as other countries all over the world. But these solutions my colleagues will present later half on the presentation. I'm just explaining you how these conflicts arise. I use it. I have a theory of Hofstede's cultural dimensions, from where I will let you know how this conflict arrays. Basically, this theory explain the cultural differences on three parameters, which is power, distance, masculinity, and individualism. So these three parameters are totally different in two countries. Like in Saudi Arabia, first two parameters are very high, and other two these are too low in Sweden. So this basically cultural difference make this issue. So IKEA, I think so, have to follow a fine line between these dimensions. Moving to the next slide, if we look that which approach IKEA use and which approach their Sweden stakeholder judge them. Basically, IKEA use ethical relativism, the view that morality is cultural specific. How their stakeholder judge them on universal ethics. This is basically a conflict of interest. Yeah, how the Sweden society works, how the Saudi society works, and how IKEA thinks so. They promote their brand very well in the Saudi Arabia. So I think so. There is a little mistake by IKEA. They have to follow the universal ethics, so they are able to promote in the marketing, and they didn't face the backlash as well. Further, I will call my another colleague who will explain the theories and also relate you the our case study with that theories. From my side, that's all. If you have any question, you can ask me. Thank you.
Hi, I am MD Mahabub. I want to represent my slide in the front of you. Um, my slide, ethical theory is and the solution, utilitarianism, principles maximize overall good or minimize harm. Consequently, the theory application IKEA prioritized avoiding backlash in Saudi Arab, benefit to local sales and reputation. However, caused harm to IKEA's global image and the trust in its CSR values. Critique short-term local benefit outweighed by long-term global brand damage, ignores rights of women and global stakeholder expectation. Next slide. Ethical theory to deontology contain ethics principles follow universal moral rules treat all individuals as end not means. Application IKEA violate it is due to respect and represent women as equals. Ethical action should be guided by principles not culture compliance. Solution uphold gender representation in all markets as a moral obligation regardless of local pressure. Next slide. Ethical theory, three versus ethics principles focus on moral character and values like integrity, fairness, and courage. Application IKEA failed to embody the virtue it promotes. Example, gender equality, respect versus company would act consistently across culture. Solution IKEA should lead by example and maintain its core ethical identify global operation. Thank you so much.
Hi, Viren. Today I'm going to present the consequences of the IKEA's decision. First of all, I will go through the PPT. So first of all, the consequences I said the reputation fallout in Sweden and international markets. So as we all know that the decision made international markets to fall down, and the second one was tactical market penetration in Saudi Arabia. And the third one is escalating demands for ethical governance. And the final one was the catalyst for global discourse on corporate ethics. So it became a catalyst for the international discourse on the responsibility of multinational corporations to uphold consistent values. So you can go to the next slide. Is like IKEA and corporate social responsibility, which means CSR. The first one is gender equality as strategic CSR imperative. So the incident occurred, but was the gender equality as a strategic CSR imperative. IKEA found itself need to reconcile varying ethical standard across jurisdiction while maintaining its global brand promise. And the second one is harmonization of ethical standard across jurisdictions. And the third one is reinforcement of stakeholder confidence and brand equity. And the final one is integrated social and environmental value. So in response, the company worked to reinforce stakeholder confidence and restore brand equity by just integrating social and environmental value creation into its strategic agenda. So this shift emphasizes that CSR is not just about compliance, it's about the trust and authenticity. So the next one is how to manage the consequences. So, so to conclude, the fallout from the decision has intensified international oversight and increased demands for corporate accountability. The company now faces elevated reputational risk and potential erosion of its CSR credibility. So IKEA should manage these consequences by providing transparent CSR disclosure practices and to provide strategic alliances with local advocates and cultural stakeholders. And the third one is to strict adherence to a unified global ethics architecture. And finally, they can do uh, the consequences by managing the culturally intelligent and inclusive brand communication. So, IKEA's pathway forward must be rooted in genuine, consistent values, or it risks undermining is the very trust that built its global success. So that's all with the consequences of the decision who made by the IKEA. Thank you for the time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson, for the great insights. Now we look at the recommendation on to help IKEA manage cross-cultural ethical conflicts. Our recommendations are based on ethical theories to guide IKEA towards globally consistent and to make culturally aware decisions. The first recommendation is to establish a global governance framework. What we mean is that IKEA should set up a central ethics board to enforce non-negotiable global standards like um, gender inclusion across all regions. This supports virtue ethics by keeping IKEA values consistent and aligns with the right theory by protecting women's representation. Unilever's unstereotype is an unstereotype initiative uses global marketing rules to prevent exclusion and bias. Our next recommendation is to adopt cultural sensitivity but inclusive marketing standards. Uh, IKEA should avoid erasing women, but instead they should adopt with visuals respectfully, showing modest attire of women. For example, in the Nike's Pro Hijab campaign, they showed women respectfully. They included a Muslim woman while celebrating inclusion. The next is basically to engage the local experts. IKEA should engage local experts, for example, women, cultural experts, and other stakeholders before launching any campaign. This supports common good and a right-based approach. For example, Starbucks successfully adopts campaigns through culture consultation to avoid ethical issues. The fourth is basically to provide training on cross-cultural ethics. This recommendation focuses on basically internal trainings. IKEA should develop cultural sensitive training to regional marketing and leadership teams. Um, they help develop moral leadership and build resilience against reputational harm. Um, a good example is basically the if you look at the internal code of conduct of Apple, they include a global ethics training to align staff and behavior across cultures. IKEA should adopt a similar approach. So these are the uh, recommendation. Some of the consequences. Of course, each of these ideas bring both the pros and cons with it. The ethics board builds global trust, but could trigger resistance in more conservative markets. The inclusive marketing standards shows respect while keeping representation intact, but if the culture norms are misjudged, backlash is possible. Local reviews. It reduces cultural error, but they take time and money, potentially delaying rollouts. And ethics training empowers team, but without ongoing reinforcements, impact on its impact can fade. And uh, so finally, the conclusion to close this controversy is more than publicly. This controversy is basically a public relation issue. It's about aligning ethics with the cross culture across borders. Companies like IKEA must walk a tightrope between local and adoption integrity by embedding inclusion, community engagement, and transparency in their strategy to avoid any backlash. Uh, that's all. Thank you.